So we're looking at CTV as a mechanism for being able to get media at a different way into the household, right? Back in the day, everybody crowded around the TV and watched NBC and shows on NBC at a certain time. And then cable came around and you had more flexibility and more channels. Now with streaming, you're taking that pipe and you're bringing the content in a more on-demand manner, right? So you can watch what you want to watch when you want to watch. It's still on the big screen, it's still content, but it is now available in a different way. And we are at Stirista looking at CTV as the next step in TV and media, and because it allows us to do things that you couldn't do in linear, right? You hear the big thing about addressable television, and that's big here at the Beet retreat. Everybody's talking about it. You can already do that in CTV, right? If you have the proper data, if you have the proper information and that connective tissue to provide identity, you're 100% addressable in CTV already.
So let's talk about that a little bit, because you brought up this idea of CTV and streaming, which is new. But then Stirista also uses a very old school technology in email and sort of kind of makes the two collaborate. Can you talk about that?
Yes. So one of the key things that differentiates Stirista from everybody else is the fact that our lineage came from email. So with identity and with ID graphs and those things coming along, we are able to connect at a household level all the emails with the CTV devices at those households. So, back in the day when you surfed, you would get a display ad. People would drop a cookie and then they would follow you around the web. Well, CTV can't do that, right? There's no cookies to drop. I try to go and click on the TV, just makes my wife angry to just leave a fingerprint, right? So what we've done is connected the email with CTV. So when an impression is delivered, we can retarget with a call to action with an email. So what do you do when you're watching television and an ad comes on? You pull out your phone, your second device. First thing you look at is what's in my inbox, right? So now we have that call to action with a CTV ad, and it's done in milliseconds, so it's like near real time.
You mentioned the identity graph, and that's something that advertisers are definitely interested in working with. You also mentioned the fact that email is sort of opt-in and permission-based. Can you talk a little bit about how Stirista is creating new opportunities for advertisers?
Sure. So I talk about the holy trinity of advertising, right? It's addressability. So having that ID graph being able to be addressable at a household level to say, I want to target a left-handed trombone player with my left-handed trombone, we have the data capabilities or identity graph to be able to do that. But then we can do frequency controls, and that's the second part of the holy trinity, by saying, okay, I've sent them an ad on TV. At the same time, I'm going to send them an email. So there's a call to action, there's CTRs you can measure, those kind of things, which lead to the third item of my holy trinity, which is attribution, right? So if you know who you're sending an ad to, you can control the frequency of the amount of ads that are sent, then you can measure it. So you have an idea that, hey, I had an ad show up on my TV, somebody clicked on it, and then they took an action, right? Either purchase something or ask for more information, whatever it is. So tying all that together really helps the brands and agencies come up with a pure return on ad spend, right? So I spent $1 on this ad, how much money did I get out of it? And it's all measurable.